Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Professor Cisco, and I'm reaching out to the student body. Okay, students, so we had our first week in class. And as you can see, the first week went pretty well, if I do say so myself. But what I'm always going to do is bag up each section of the class with a video log. So I want you to look at these video logs, especially if you're unclear, because this is where you get more information and get a lot more clarity without people asking a lot of questions. So always use this as your default. I'm going to start just rolling them out as of today so you can have them for your reference. Now remember, this is day one. I know we already head of the game, but by the time you get back to the next class, I will have completed several of these videos. Just watch them at will. Really give you a deep analysis of what this class is all about. Remember, this is networking essentials. I am going over the scope and sequence of the class. This one will be short, but I will follow up with chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So remember, this is day 1. If you want to understand networking, this is the class you should start with. There are a whole host of networking classes out there. But for Cisco, which this is the Cisco Academy class, this is where I always gear my students to start. It gives you everything you need to know about networking, the general pieces of it, and the specific pieces that goes with Cisco. So this talks about every day more people around the world are working from home and attending school from home. So we just came out of a worldwide pandemic, and this has been forced down our throats because now we know we could work from home, which us in the IT world knew that all the time. But this is going to teach you about how networking works, how these different phases in networking help us. So as you can see, it says here, the Cisco Network Academy Networking Essentials course provide learners with a broad foundational understanding of network. Abroad. So you can see all the different pieces of networking, but not get so specific in networking. But this is abroad. This is the first class you should start with. Now, the targeted audience in here for anyone who is in high school, and we talking about the 3rd and 4th year of high school, they will go through a course like this. Then you got college students, university students, and you have what they say, the Cisco Networking Academy. Cisco has a big academy, and I'm one of the academy instructors. So you just got to make sure that we pretty much gearing this to pretty much anybody who want to know something about networking. Prerequisite to this class, all you have to do is basically know how to turn on a computer, how to get on the internet, and how to use a browser to be able to do this work. The class will teach you everything else, but those are requirements. You definitely have to know how to use a computer. Now, in some countries, they don't even use what we call traditional computers like a laptop or a desktop. They use their cell phone, and you can run this whole course on your cell phone. You can learn just using your cell phone. Now, just basically going over what we call the course description. Just remember, this course teaches the fundamentals of networking. It covers how devices communicate on a network, networking addressing, network services, how to build a home network, and how to configure basic security on the routers and switches. And it talks about the many different devices, and what you'll do in a networking field is basically troubleshoot. Now, for this particular class, I would gear this to a person who wants to go into the industry, IT industry, and do some basic troubleshooting or networking on systems. I'll say you'll be an IT technician or IT network support, something like that. And I'll show you the many different fields you can work in. Now, reading through the actual breakdown of this particular course, you can see this course is comprised of 20 modules. You'll be using Packet Tracer. You'll be using multiple learning tools in this course, things like multimedia tools that you'll be using. You'll have an opportunity to learn from many different types of discipline to learn the material that you need to know in this course. So I'm not going to read through this step by step, but just know that you will have access to multiple ways to be able to pick this knowledge up and be able to use it. The most important part of this course, this is the learning objectives. Now, we talked about this in class, but I want to spend a little more time on this here per se. So, for instance, the Networking Essential course is designed for people who want to learn the knowledge and skill they need to work in information technology. So when you hit at IT, you know what that means. These different objectives, you're going to see me give you a synopsis on each and every one of these as I travel through the course. At the end of the day, when you complete this course, these are the questions you should be able to answer. So if I ask you to explain the concepts of networking communication, you should be able to explain that to me. Explain the basic requirements for getting online. Create a simulated network using Cisco Packet Tracer. Build a simple network. Explain the importance of standards and protocols in networking communication. These are the tools that you should imprint in your brain to make sure that you understand this course. Now, it's roughly 20 of these, but you should be able to explain how communication occurs on Ethernet networks. Create a full connected LAN. At the end of this class, this is what you should walk away with. This is what you paying for. So if I ask you to create a fully connected LAN, that means build me a LAN. Explain the features of the IP address. Explain the DHCP address assignment process. Explain principles of IPv4, IPv6 address management. Explain how clients access the internet service. You should be able to explain step by step how do they access these particular services that's on the internet. Explain the function of common application layer processes or services. You should be able to configure an integrated wireless router. You have these routers at home that you get from your ISP, internet service provider. You should also be able to do basic security on that router. Connect wireless PC clients to a wireless router. Explain how to use security best practices to mitigate attacks. Configure basic network security. Explain how to create a console connection to a Cisco device. I know it's funny because you would think everybody know these things, but unless you work in a networking world, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Explain how to use the Cisco iOS, that's the Cisco operating system on their devices. Build a simple computer network using Cisco devices, and at the very end, troubleshoot basic network connectivity issues. These are tools that you will get to learn how to troubleshoot these different devices. Now, these are the requirements you need to be able to participate in this course, but I'm going to give it in a nutshell. All you need is the internet because the course is online and Packet Tracer. With the internet and Packet Tracer downloaded onto your computer, you can do all of this entire course. Now, will there be some things that you'll need to real hands-on equipment. It shouldn't be, but every once in a while you run into a lab that may require that. But basically, 99.9% of the work, you should be able to complete this course just by being able to access the internet, which will give you access to the academy, and Packet Tracer downloaded onto your computer. So I wanted to keep this short. I just wanted to show you what this course is about. If you said to me, Professor, what do I need to walk away with after completing this entire course? I say the course objectives. If you know this, you know basic networking, the course objectives. So with that being said, I'm going to send this video log out to you, and then we're going to move into each one of the chapters. But now remember, in each one of the chapters, I am going to conclude with a synopsis of one of these objectives. I am going to break down what you need to take away with that particular objective. So make sure when you go through the videos, wait to the end so you can see my synopsis of that particular objective. It's 20 of them, so that means you're going to get 20 videos and you're going to rapidly get them. But when you come into class and you receive these video logs, you're going to be in the know. You're going to be able to ask questions, answer questions. Also, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page. That means when I post something, it'll come directly to you. And there's other classes that I'm going to be putting on there. So if you really into the IT industry, you're about to learn everything you need to know to get you started. Professor Sistrunk, I'll see you in the next session.